we're going to play a little. How recently has Father Andrew read the Odyssey trivia? Okay.
Uh-oh.
So, do you remember
almost a year?
Do you remember roughly what Odysseus and his men do when they know? Because they have warning that they're going to be sailing past the Sirens. So Odysseus has all of his men do what?
They stop up their ears.
Right.
And
what
they
does
also
he do?
tie him to the mast so he can hear it. He wants to hear the song of the Sirens. But like he wants to be tied back so that he can't act on his urges.
Now, if I were doing a Byzantine style allegorical interpretation of the Odyssey, you could say that there's two kinds of men represented here. There are the slaves or the spiritually immature who have to have their ears completely stopped against the Song of the Sirens because they are not going to have the willpower to resist it. And they need to row, right? And then there's the spiritually mature person who has the ability to discern between. But the only reason he's able to do that is because he has forearmed himself, right?
Yeah.
With the virtues. That's what the cords that bind you, right? He's not lying on his bed with his hands tied. He's bound, upright to the mast. Now, trivia part 2.
Uh-oh.
Do you remember? It's okay. I mean, I'm not trying to put you on the spot, but just for fun.
Okay. It's fine.
Do you remember? Like,
I don't have my Odyssey on me right now.
What's the promise of the Sirens? Because people always forget this. They always remember this wrong.
Oh yeah, it's not like it's not a sexual thing.
Yeah.
No. Yeah. I'm trying to remember.
Here's their song. Yeah. Here's their song for people who don't know what the Song of the Sirens is. St. Basil certainly knows, and this is a big part of what he has in mind, I think, in this chapter. He says, so this is the Song of the Sirens. The Sirens failed not to note the swift ship as it drew near, and they raised their clear-toned song. Come hither, as thou farest, renowned Odysseus, great glory of the Achaeans. Stay thy ship, that thou mayest listen to the voice of us two. So there are two sirens. For never yet has any man rowed past this isle in his black ship until he has heard the sweet voice from our lips. Nay, he has joy of it, and goes his way a wiser man. For we know all the toils that in wide Troy the Argives and the Trojans endured through the will of the gods, and we know all things that come to pass upon the fruitful earth.
Yeah.
So this is
the temptation of the serpent.
That's it. It's the temptation of the secret knowledge.
Yeah.
Right. Here's the secret knowledge. And this is the thing that we have to be careful of when we're reading this stuff, is this temptation to sort of think that just because I've gone here and I've gleaned this wisdom from pagan poetry or from, modern literature or whatever, that now I have the secret knowledge about the way that the world really is.
Yeah.
But the thing we're supposed to be doing is learning discernment by looking for Christ, right?
Yeah.
And the one of the weird ways that this sort of sometimes can manifest itself is the way that you have now, you could just say like, different postmodern literary theories that people will then go and try to apply to the Holy Scriptures, right?
Yeah.
That's one example of like hearing the siren song, but not having bound yourself with virtue, right?
Yeah.
And with restraint and with discipline and with the tradition.
Yeah. And also like there's another temptation, which is the temptation to esoterica.
That's right. Yeah. Which I think is deeply part of part of this. Yeah.
Yeah. I have secret knowledge. I've looked at, like this conspiratorial kind of way of thinking, like, oh, look, I see all these dots. I'm going to connect them in this way.
Right.
And now I understand things that everybody else doesn't. Yeah. That's a great point.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool.